Alright, Shalom. Shalom. This is your brother Issachar coming back at you for another lesson. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakar Kudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and the 144,000 scattered across the four corners of the earth. Shalom to you. Alright, today's lesson. We're going to go into the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. His word is true. Okay, it's impossible for the Most High Yahweh to lie. So, with that being said, you have to take these prophecies and these words, that the prophets are teaching, because they're not they're not coming, out of their own imagination. All right, they're teaching you what the Lord's saying. So you have to really consider that. Consider means to think about. You have to really think about it, You have to really if you gotta take, slow down a little bit, take a few steps back, and really consider, what's about to go down out of here. Okay, what's really about to partake out here. All right, so remember, famine, starvation. Can you imagine? Like you really have to put yourself there. Remember, it's going to be a very terrible day where people can't, there's going to be not even no food available. There's going to be, martial law. All right. All this, your basic essentials, just rationed out. All these grocery stores, just ramsacked. You imagine everything now that makes life convenient as we know it, liquor stores, 7-Eleven, Starbucks, your cafes, Grubhub, whatever, however you get your food and coffee nowadays. Imagine how all that shut down. Numbers chapter 23 and verse 19. Numbers 23 and 19. The Most High Yahweh is not a man that he should lie, because the Lord's faithful. Okay, his words are on point. Okay, he's not gonna lie. Neither the Son of Man, so Yahweh or Yahweh Shai, okay, he's not gonna lie to his children. All right, remember that. He's gonna tell you it's definitely for your benefit. Okay, so this is when your parents, discipline you or punish you, it's just for you to learn from that, to stop doing that. But, your enemies are, they're really going to try to destroy you. This is why your tensions, when you go to, the so-called Chinese, the so-called East Indians, the so-called white people out there, the true Edomites, they really look at you like that, You say, well, damn, I don't understand, this, how can people still be like this in this day and age, It's because they really are your enemies, That's why it's a very real thing. Yes, you got some heathens out there, and so-called Edomites too, but they're like lower class, they're like lower level. They're in the same bowl like us, because you may be like, oh man, this is so-called Chinese that, my coworker that works with me at Home Depot, and he's cool as heck, Yeah, he may be cool because he's not part of the elites. Remember the elites, So I know those of you out there might be like, no, these so-called white people are cool. Yeah, some of them, but that's those that are living right here amongst you in these suburbs and these cities. Yeah, Jennifer may be cool because she's not part of the elite. She's working. She has a birth certificate, a driver's license. She has to pay her taxes, go to work every day, just like you. So she's in the same boat as us. Because remember, hey, some people may not like it, but it's the the lower class, the lower if you will, like you have the rich, the middle class, so the people who are like middle class and down, they're not really gonna know unless they're well learned, So the elites of the Edomites and heathens, they truly are the enemies of us, the Israelites. All right, so that's why you may those of you that just are listening, you might be like, hey man, these people are here, like they're cool. What are you talking about? The community's fine, like we all get along. Yeah, that's because we're all in the same boat. All right, facts. Because you're just trying to pay your taxes. People are just trying to make the best lives for themselves. You're not up there with the elites. So this is why you have to be educated. You got to be in the know to understand. All right, so that's why you have to be a little impatient. You have to be patient, Salakia, for those of you that are just coming, into this thing. You have to be, you have to learn why though. It's not just, oh yeah, look at the so-called Chinese. I'm just supposed to hate them. No, okay. Remember, because there are Israelites out there that look like these other nations. All right, so you have to judge the spirit first. All right, it's not just like, oh yeah, forget these so-called Chinese man. And no, you have to judge righteous judgment. Number two, remember we're in captivity, so there's a reason why, the heathen are on top of us right now. Okay, remember, because we went off. So don't be going around, like you're, don't be going around like you're just, Mr. Know-it-all, Mr. Perfect. You know what I'm saying? So you have to, remember, just because you know that you're an Israelite, doesn't give you the green light. Just like, oh yeah, look at these heathens and start treating people like shit. No, you still treat people right. All right, that's the thing. If they start bugging up against you, and getting crazy, then you have to, defend yourself if it comes down to that. But you got to realize that, just because you're an Israelite, all right, and that, it doesn't give you the green light to start, treating these people like crap, Remember, carry yourself, have some integrity about yourself, When you go out, be wise, have manners, be respectful. I know there might be a heathen right there, but hey, just be polite, Remember, you're royalty, So just, walk with some integrity, have some dignity about yourself, Don't just, fuck Edomites and heathens are going to slavery. Yeah, fuck everybody. Yeah, that's right. Like, no, hey, don't be foolish. You know what I'm saying? Know what I mean? All right, carry yourself, as, because you're better than that, Jake. I know sometimes you're like, damn, I can't stand them, but hey, the Lord set this up. All right, and we're still paying for our sins. Okay, but yes, in the back of your mind, like, these heathens are going to captivity, but when the Lord says it's time, then it's time. All right, so Numbers 23:19, the Most High Yahweh is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man, Yahweh Shai, that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Right. Okay, because everything, just check it out, If you're really into the scriptures, if you're really paying attention, okay, you don't got to be all, real deep into this thing. If you just have, a basic education from the, from the spirit of power, Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, learning from the apostles on down, the true doctrine, all right, on GMS, the apostles, because they got the truth, but there are some teachers out there that are affiliates that are teaching the correct truth, So if you're, truly understanding, that true doctrine of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, just a basic education, you'll understand that, everything that the Lord is saying is coming true, to the T. There's nothing that the Lord has said that's like, oh no, that wasn't true. Like, name one. Name one that the Lord has said or that hasn't happened. Everything's on point, because he's our creator. Remember, he's not going to lie to us. Because he's our Heavenly Father, like for reals. You know, so he's not gonna, why would he lie to you? You know, for what? See? So that, you know, you have to really understand this thing. You know, you have to really remember, follow instructions. You know, because you can really get jacked up out here. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? See? Because, yeah, the Lord's word always comes to pass. Okay, Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, his word, you know, it always is made true. You know, at the end of the day, you know, Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, his word is always comes true, you know? Verse 20. Numbers, okay, 23 and 20. Behold, I have received commandment to bless, and he hath blessed, and I cannot reverse it. Alright, so now let's go to right here. So this is Isaiah. This is Isaiah 50 and 7. For the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai power will help me. Therefore shall I not be confounded. Therefore have I set my face like a flint, and I know that I shall not be ashamed. All right. So this is something that you know you gotta understand, because you know the those that trusted in the Lord, okay, in the ancient world, you know, Daniel, Samson, David, Elijah, okay, were they, you know, confounded? Did they ever trust in the Lord and the Lord just left them hanging high and dry? No. All right. Isaiah 54 and 4. Fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded. For thou shalt not be put to shame, for thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth, and shalt not remember the reproach of thy widowhood anymore. All right, so yeah, because those that believe in the Lord, okay, you're not gonna be ashamed. All right, like yeah, you may still sin, and you're not perfect. None of us are, but you're not gonna be ashamed of the Lord. You know, when people say, "Hey, who do you believe in?" You're gonna say the elect are gonna say Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. You know, they're not gonna be like, "Oh well, I don't really want to say." No, the elect are gonna be firm and bold unto the end, because they have the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. They're not getting paid to say that. You know, they're not being influenced. They have the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai on them. Like Noah. Noah didn't give a damn. Okay? Whatever you know, people, whatever people, you know, told him, you know, Noah's crazy and all that, you know, he kept building that ark because he knew it was gonna rain. Let me find this precept. Let me see if I can get it here. Okay, so there we go. All right, so this is Ecclesiasticus 2, verse 10, or Sirach. Okay, because Ecclesiasticus and Sirach are the same thing. All right, so Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 10. This is the one I wanted to get right here. All right, look at the generations of old. Right, okay, because, let me read it and then I'll break it down. Look at the generations of old and see that did ever any trust in the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? See? Or whom did ever he despise that called upon him? See, damn, there it is. All right, let's break it. Let's break this all the way down. All right, from the top. Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 10. Look at the generations of old. Right. Okay, so look at Daniel. Know your history. Okay, because it's helpful because like, man, these are real stories that really happened. Our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Noah. Okay, Moses. Okay, that's all our family. That's all our heritage. This is all our history. Yep, imagine. Yeah. So imagine that. This is why you have to really believe in these stories. You have to be really, really believe in these stories. So right here, look at the generations of old. Right. So just look what happened in the past. Like we were going into earlier. Okay, David, Samson, the 37 mighty men. Okay, Elijah. Okay, Habakkuk. Huh? All right. And see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Right. All right. Did any trust in the Lord and was confounded? So, you know what? Let's look up that word confounded real fast. Let's get it. Give me 1 second here. Confounded. Confounded. We just add it. Oh snap. Okay, so right here, this is the definition of confounded. Surprise, confusion. Okay, it says especially by acting against their expectations. So let's get some more definitions right here. This is astonished, surprised, dismayed, perplexed. All right, so right there, see that? So that word right there, confounded. So yeah, basically those that trusted in the Lord, okay, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, was any like that, perplexed, was anybody pretty much like disappointed? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, was anybody let down? That's a good word. Okay, because like let's say like you tell your friend, hey, can you pick me up, Thursday at 7? My car broke down, and he says, oh yeah, okay, I can pick you up, and you imagine if that friend left his other friend hanging, okay, like that, so was anybody let down? No, the Lord always came through, maybe not right there when they wanted to, but right on time. Because remember, the Lord likes drama. Remember, Daniel actually got thrown into the lion's pit. It wasn't like, the Lord's like, no, I'm not going to allow that. That's my boy right there, Daniel. You kidding me? I'm not going to let them throw him in there. No, he actually let them grab him up, arrest him, put him, in the dungeon, So the Lord, and then he had the lions not attack Daniel. So this to show you that the Lord, he'll wait to the last minute to perform a miracle or spiritual power. So that's why you have to really believe this to the end, because Daniel, okay, Samson, look at Abraham, okay, Abraham was found faithful, all right, because the Lord told him, all right, it was just a test. Remember, he said, sacrifice your son Isaac. He loved his son Isaac because that was his only boy. Imagine that. So imagine how hard that is, Imagine that. So most people were like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's my son. There's no way. But he did it just to say, well, damn, like, I'm just gonna do it. But the Lord stopped him at the last minute just to see like where his faith was. Like, hey, are you willing to really do that for me? You know? See? But at the last minute, you know, Abraham was found faithful. Okay? All right, Joseph, all right, was made, you know, ruler over Egypt. Huh? Let's hear it. See? You know, so the Lord always came through, you know, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Okay? You know, look at, they were, you know, the Lord didn't say, hey, you know what, these Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they believe in me. I'm not even gonna have these soldiers even touch them. No way, you know? Get out of here, Nebuchadnezzar. No, the Lord actually let them, like, go ahead, take them, you know, and actually allowed them to throw them in the furnace. Not just like, oh yeah, I saw it, but the Lord stopped, like, the Lord didn't even let us go in the room. No, he actually allowed them to throw them in the fire. So you want to talk about a clutch play? You want to talk about the last minute? Like, you know, the Lord comes through at the last minute. Sometimes he comes fast, sometimes, you know, but he works in his own time. But did he come through? That's the question. Yes. See? You know? So that is the point here. Okay, because right here, let's get it again from the top. Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 10. Look at the generations of old and see, did any ever trust in the Lord, Yahweh Shai, and was confounded? Was anybody let down? You know, did the Lord, I say, oh, I'm not going to come through, you know what I'm saying? No, he was there. All right? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? You see? All right? So, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Right? Because remember, Proverbs 1:7, the beginning of knowledge is to fear the Lord. Because it's not like you have to walk around with your tail up your ass, walk around like a scaredy cat, like, oh, this dude's a chump, this dude's a cherry, or this woman's, you know, a coward. No. Okay? It just means that you have to fear the Lord. So just like Daniel, just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, so if you get in a situation where Esau's like, hey, check it out, I'm going to fire you unless you take this chip, you have to be like, fuck it. You know, you may be a doctor, you may be a superintendent, you know, a foreman, a manager, you know, a nurse. You have to be willing to give that job up for the Lord. Okay, even your life, because it's going to come down to it where society's about to be shut down. Okay, and the Lord's actually going to see, because some people, that's why you have to have that fear, because you have to really know that these elites are really going to come down, okay, on the masses. So you have to really understand that, because you have to really understand that because, you know, you got to really understand that because, you know, if it comes down to a situation, you know, and if it comes down to a situation and, you know, Esau says, well, you know, if you don't take this chip, we're going to take your kids from you. We're going to take your children from you. You know, we're going to chop off your head. See? So that's why you have to have that fear, because you have to, in your mind, you have to have that mindset like, hey, well, if, you know, I'd rather get put to death by man than by the Lord. You have to have that option. Like, you know, I'd rather go out righteousness than a sellout, you know? See? So that fear is important, because when you get put in a situation, when you get put in a situation, when you get put in a you know, a point of dire straits, right? You know, when you get put in a position where you're gonna have to make a conscious decision, you have to really know that, you know, you have to really be ready for that too. Like, you know what, damn, you know, you have to really know that, like, man, I'm just, you know, I'd rather just die, you know, but believe in the Lord than to go out underneath Satan and these Edomites, you see? Or whom did ever despise, or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? Right there. Because the Lord hears his elect. A precept to that is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 9. Because the Lord is with his hopeful elect. So with that, that's it on today's lesson, that the Lord is not a liar. Okay, the Lord's words are true. So with that, shalom, stay strong out there. Okay, do the right thing. You guys know what to do. All right, stop playing around, stop murmuring. Hey, when you get put in a situation, there's two things you guys gotta do. Okay, your car breaks down, you get fired from your job. All right, you have a bad week, whatever. Two main things you gotta do right away. All right, it's two main things. Call on the names before you even be like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Take a deep breath. You know, call on the names. Okay, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's number one. Number two, man up. Okay, or if you're a woman, stand up, be strong. Okay, figure it out. Okay, go through your options. See what. Don't just panic, and don't just start complaining. Oh, I knew it. This is how it is. Oh man, relax. Hey, relax me, huh? Okay, relax me, huh? You're gonna be all right. Especially those of you that believe in the Lord. There's gonna be a way. It might not be your way. It might not be the fastest way, but the Lord is testing you. There's gonna be a way somehow, some way. There's gonna be a way. All right, so remember that. Two major things when you guys are put in predicaments: call on the names. Number two, man up. So with that, shalom on your feet, soldier. Shalom.